Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased and honored to welcome you to the biennial Global Roundtable on Sustainable Finance, convened by the United Nations Environment Program Finance Initiative, UNEP-FI. You are all joining this conversation because you already know that the stakes have never been higher for the future of human civilization. The impacts of the climate crisis are growing worse faster than we have yet been deploying its solutions. And yet today and every day, we continue to spew 162 million tons of human-caused global warming pollution into the atmosphere as if it were an open sewer. Those greenhouse gases trap as much extra heat energy as would be released by 600,000 first-generation atomic bombs exploding every 24 hours. The consequences of all that accumulated extra heat energy are all around us, obviously. For example, the last 8 years have been the hottest 8 years ever measured with instruments. This was Europe's hottest summer ever recorded, as heat waves broke all-time records all across the continent and fueled a dangerous drought that dried up some of Europe's largest and most important rivers. Elsewhere in the world, the heat wave that consumed a very large area of China for more than 70 days in July and August is by far the most severe heat wave ever recorded in world history. And the economy is feeling the effects of this change. Economic losses from climate-related catastrophic weather events cost $343 billion last year alone. The United States was just hit with another multi-billion-dollar extreme weather disaster as Hurricane Ian battered Florida, becoming one of the strongest hurricanes ever to strike Florida. And if these are the impacts of something between 1.1 and 1.2 degrees of warming, think about how much worse off we would be if we allowed temperatures to continue to rise to 2 or 3 degrees above pre-industrial levels. And that's where we're headed unless we implement the plans that have been announced and start making changes very quickly. We have all the solutions we need to prevent the most catastrophic impacts of this crisis. But if we want to achieve the goal of the Paris Agreement to limit global temperature increases to 1.5 degrees C, then business and governments must urgently work together to cut emissions in half by the end of this decade in order to reach net zero by 2050. Just as the activities leading to this crisis have been financed by banks and investors, the transition must also be led by the financial sector. You and those speaking this week are uniquely positioned to deliver the impacts needed to ensure that we maintain a healthy, safe, prosperous, and fair world. Speaking personally, when my partners and I founded Generation Investment Management back in 2004, the concept of sustainable investing was deemed a potentially admirable but certainly frontier approach. But today, sustainable investing is considered mainstream. So mainstream, in fact, that it is now under withering attack from the fossil fuel industry and its allies. Yet uncertainty around risks and opportunities for investors persists. These doubts are stalling the ambition needed for the sector to be a part of the solution to the climate crisis, as well as to help solve the growing inequality in our world. We need a financial system that enables and encourages and empowers people to shape global sustainability outcomes, a financial system that is aligned with global goals such as the Paris Agreement and the important UN Sustainable Development Goals. We need to engage all facets of the financial system if we're going to be successful. Policymakers, regulators, and the global finance community need to join forces to shift towards an impact-oriented and sustainable way of doing business. I'm pleased to point to the work of UNEP-FI in that respect. In partnership with the Generation Foundation and the Principles for Responsible Investment, they commissioned Freshfields to produce a deep legal analysis exploring the ways that investors could strengthen their response to sustainability issues. The report, A Legal Framework for Impact, shows that investors can and often should pursue sustainability impact throughout their work. Freshfield's groundbreaking report, alongside the work of the partners in this project, is helping investors to understand and manage their sustainability impacts in ways that can achieve financial returns and contribute to sustainability goals, such as limiting warming to 1.5 degrees. The work supported by UNEP FI is also helping policymakers remove barriers and facilitate these efforts. Public policy engagement, stewardship, and capital allocation. These are the three actions that investors, banks, and insurers can take now in order to effect change in the real economy. Taken together, they provide a powerful toolkit to transform our financial systems worldwide, from one that passively manages risk to one that proactively considers impacts of business activity. The planet, or at least those systems that make the planet sustainable for human beings, human civilization, and our economic system, all depend on the actions that we take today. We no longer have time to fall short on sustainability impact. We have a unique opportunity now to be a part of and to accelerate the solutions to the climate crisis and to inequality. So again, let me reiterate my thanks for your participation in this year's Global Roundtable, and my thanks for joining together on this journey towards a sustainable financial and economic system. Let's get to work. Thank you.